Copy. Hello, everybody. My name is Delazar Slit, and today we're doing a reaction video. So, this is for Fionna and Cake, episodes 7 and 8. A reaction to the analysis and review of AmpleSamuel. Honestly, I like this guy's voice, and I just like how it's hearing his thoughts and opinions on things, and also how he breaks things down. So, let's begin and continue.
I've pretty much run out of ways to introduce these
Mm-hmm.
videos, so let's go ahead and jump into the 7th and 8th episodes of
Nah, there's
what
a
is
thousand more
shaping up
things.
to be one of the most impressive animated seasons of television of all time.
Really? What the
Oh no.
Just like all 6 of the first episodes, this one starts with a seemingly unrelated cold open, as we see a young Marcy traverse through a familiarly apocalyptic ooh
Mm-hmm.
as the audience expects to see Simon appear walking behind her. This scene benefits from the fact that we did see a Marcy and Simon flashback
Mm-hmm.
earlier in Fionna and Cake, which made me immediately curious about why we would need to be getting another one. A line of thought ended by the reveal of Simon's corpse, followed by
Oh.
Marcy being approached by a different figure as we cut to the present. The reveal at the end of this scene hits like a truck, and I really like
Oh, this is
that,
the world
unlike
where
every other
he's dead.
universe, including the next one, we go into this world knowing the twist, as we are set up to see what Simon's influence truly saved Marceline from. Going into this universe, Fiona's concerns, along with something else that we'll get to in a second, come with her from Baby World, as she
Mm-hmm.
continues to fear that all she's done is hurt people and make things worse. Something that is somewhat backed up by what happened to Farm World Finn and the Winter King because of her, although the latter was definitely deserved. Anyway, I'll talk more
Also,
about
I love how
this as we
Cake is
go
just like
through
getting
the different
better at
episodes,
shapeshifting.
but I really love how they finally give Fionna a true bona fide arc with this pair, as she's the best as a character that she's ever been. The world of this episode, even before we meet any of the
Oh yeah, by the way, the art in this shit is fucking beautiful. Let's just take this over real quick. If you pause on any moment, you could turn this shit into something. I don't give a fuck. It's all beautiful. Dead sun equals dead people. Run. Fear and sadness. I'm looking for Dave. Eat garlic. I'm alive. Have you seen my mommy?
other characters is really interesting from the jump, as the gothic apocalyptic vibe of this vampiric ooh is just such a fun place for an
Mm-hmm.
episode. After a great scene fighting the vampires of this world as Cake showcases a grasp of her powers, we get introduced to the rebels of this world with versions of PB, Huntress with
Hold up. I can't tell. Do I like bubblegum looking like this? Oh no. Okay, normally I don't find bubblegum hot, but this is actually hot, and I don't know why. Hmm. Also, just the amount of wood and stakes around here is actually really fucking, it's really just weird.
Wizard, and
All this
most
metal and then
critically of
just wood and
all,
shit.
Martin. To start
Huntress wizard. Hmm.
with him, I love how they utilize his character throughout this one. Ever since Islands, the show has pushed the idea that Martin's jerkiness was a result of his circumstances, and watching him be genuinely a good person up until
Wait,
the very
he's
end
a
of
good.
this one only makes you feel bad for every version of this character that we've ever seen.
Hmm.
The best example of this comes when he feeds baby Finn, as it's just absolutely gut-wrenching to watch the two interact
Oh
with the
no.
knowledge of their past back in RU. And it definitely made me think that Martin was going to get to raise Finn at the end of this episode, something that obviously doesn't get.
You can't just like, definitely gonna raise his fin. And I'm thinking, oh, so they take him with them, right? And then you just cut to showing me this man's dying, dried out, decrepit. No, you can't do this, AmpleSamuel, you motherfucker. Just he's dead.
To happen.
God
Also, I
damn.
kind of breezed past it, but Baby Finn's inclusion after tagging along from Baby World is pretty minimal in this one besides a few jokes. And given how this one ends, I can't imagine things going very well for him moving forward.
Yeah.
Anyway, Huntress Wizard, who's just become Huntress in this one, definitely doesn't have as interesting of a character beat as Martin. Although
Mm-hmm.
the character herself is just so cool that it's neat having her around, and she does participate in this great moment at the very end that we'll get to in a second. And obviously, the main attraction of this rebel group is Bonnibel, who's become the war general that everybody treats her as in the main series, as she coldly leads the group towards defeating the vampires. This is another really interesting interpretation of the character after the Candy Queen, and her interactions with Marceline are fantastic later in the episode. We'll get back
Marceline.
to
Yeah,
this
actually,
world in
no.
a
Where the
bit,
fuck is
but
Marcy?
first we gotta talk about all the other stuff going on in this episode, starting
Oh
with the
shit.
short scene of Scarab and Prismo, where Scarab is more or less taken out of being the antagonist for at least these 2 episodes. And while it is somewhat entertaining to listen to him and Prismo squabble, Scarab continues to be the only real problem I have with this season, as he is continuously made to be a smaller and smaller part of each episode. Anyway, more on that in the next episode, but moving
My idea right now is just them going, hey, he's gonna be less and less of a threat until the end when he appears all of a sudden. He's gonna be like, what the fuck's happening? We forgot about you. And he just goes, you forgot. But I was planning. I was plotting. I was doing something. You just never got to see it.
Moving on to something more positive, this one
Eh.
also has a Marshall and Gary plot just like The Winter King, and while
Hmm.
it's not narratively as strong as that one, I still like it quite a bit. Seeing a bunch of characters from throughout the show's history is a fun touch for the gala, and the
Yeah.
relationship between Marshall and his mother is handled really well. Where the plotline loses me a little bit is in its resolution, as Gary pretty much gives up his dreams of finding an investor just so Marshall isn't embarrassed by his mother for a night in front of everybody. Still, Gary and Marshall are just such likable characters that this plot has no choice but to be enjoyable, and the parallels between them and the Marcy and Bubblegum that we're watching are
Mm-hmm.
handled really well in the conclusion of this episode to create a fantastically artistic finale, but we'll get back to that in a second. First, though, back to our rebel gang, as Fionna
Hold up. So I was looking at the designs. I'm gonna be honest. I stopped paying attention for a second. I was not looking. Okay, so we're just gonna look over the crowd real quick, right? Oh, that's Mr. Chip. That is Mr. Chip, right? The chocolate. No, that's not Chip. What was his name? The the bobbity looking motherfucker from Adventure Time. Ooh, you looking good today. Ain't you great? You looking pretty cool. I don't know who the fuck you is. I don't know who the fuck you is. You look like a piece of shit. I'm pretty sure this is Tree Trunk's husband. And if so, you are a piece of shit.
likable characters that this
But
plot
let's
has
continue.
no choice but to be enjoyable. And the parallels between them and the Marcy and Bubblegum that we're watching are handled really well in the conclusion of this episode to create a fantastically artistic finale, but we'll get back to that in a second. First, though, back to our rebel gang, as Fionna forces the tank to stop in order to
Mm-hmm.
help what appear to be stranded humans, only for the trap to quickly reveal itself. This scene is tremendously great for a variety of reasons, as besides just having some great fight choreography, we also get the introduction of the Marceline of
No.
this world, who's pretty much
Marceline's.
become the vampire princess in a cruel twist of fate, and is just such a fun character. Every voice line and piece of animation makes her better and better, and the way that she just brutally dispatches Martin makes for such an impactful scene.
So she just straight
The
up kills him.
over-the-top nature of her and Bubblegum during this scene is great too, but the real importance lies in what this does to Fiona's psyche, as she has the clearest example yet of her actions directly harming somebody, as she is directly responsible for the death of Martin, the
What?
guilt for which being symbolized by her carrying his jacket. Meanwhile, Cake becomes a literal tank for the gang as she continues to try and use her powers for good, as her and
Mm-hmm.
Fiona's parallel arcs continue to become quite apparent. Moving into the final attack, as As everybody is setting up the garlic bombs for the
Yes.
surprisingly cleverly written plan, we get another look at this Marceline as she changes into a different outfit, clearly showing the fact that the
She's
crew
fucking
loved designing this
beautiful.
version of the character so much that they
Oh yeah, no. This woman looks magnificent. Marceline has always been a character that you could just say, was she supposed to be hot? And then you just remember, yes, she is. Marceline's just good. Fuck everybody else. If they disagree, you lie. Also, I know that there probably isn't, but is there a Marceline song? Like, just a good little Marceline song. Just one more.
they couldn't constrict themselves to one design. And yeah, the amount of love and care that went into this version of the character is surely being appreciated, as just like the Candy Queen last week, there is definitely a good amount of Princess Marcy fan art. Unfortunately,
Oh yeah.
Simon is not as receptive to this version of the character as the audience, as he
Oh,
ponders how his little Marceline could become this monster, as Fionna points out that his absence could be the reason for all of this. While I get that actually confirming this reality to Simon would have likely been a little bit clunky, I do wish that Simon could have confronted this idea a bit more than just saying, oh yeah, maybe that is the case. But Simon at least considering that his presence could have been what partially saved Ooh from vampiric hell is a nice moment. All of this
yeah.
sets up the climax of the episode, as Huntress goes down to knock off the crown and allow
Mm-hmm.
daylight in as the garlic bombs go off, only for the atmosphere to remain cloudy, as the Vampire King comes out with the surprisingly jacked up corpse all in front of you. This scene is unimaginably
Oh.
sick, as it's just such a shock to see her covered in arrows as it all becomes hopeless. Speaking of the Vampire King, this is probably his best episode that we've ever gotten, as unlike his appearance towards the tail end of Stakes, he remains this imposing figure throughout the entire episode. Even when Cake is trying to take the crown, he immediately switches back from goofy dad mode to
You.
horrifying leader of the vamps, as Fionna and Simon are forced to warp for the final time in order to save Cake, albeit against her will. As Fionna can't prevent herself from trying to protect Cake, the ramifications of which coming in the next episode.
They
Before
left the
then,
rest of
though,
those people
for
to
the
die.
first time in the series, the episode hangs on a bit in the last universe to give us the Bubblegum and Marcy scene that we all
They're
want,
just fighting in
and
the
yeah,
sky,
it's
Dragon
just
Ball
as sick
style.
as you ever
Jesus.
could have hoped for. The romantic tension as they try to somewhat kill each other is so palpably fun to watch, and the pair presumably tumbling to their collective deaths at the end is a great way to leave this universe, as it continues its parallels with what's going on in Fionna World. Everything about this fight, from the animation to the music to the voice acting, is just sublime, and is a fantastic send-off to these versions of the characters. In general, The Star is just another fantastic episode of the show, with different
I actually
versions
really
of
love
Marcy
this.
and PB making up each half of the episode,
Oh,
while Fionna and
good
Cake
night,
begin to have
local.
some
Bye bye.
tension that permeates throughout the following half of this pair. While not quite the strongest outing of the series yet, as some of the A-plot,
Yeah, no, this is the
B-plot
last video of the
parallels
day.
end up being a little bit clunky, this episode just has too many fun scenes, too many terrific designs, and too much great writing to be classified as anything other than fantastic.
Just what?
Despite its somewhat goofy name, Jerry doesn't even spend a
What?
second hiding its intentions to rip out your heartstrings as we open to a Simon and Betty flashback. This
Oh
episode
no.
splits its story into little pieces that we'll get throughout, so I'm going to talk about each one as we get to it, but from the beginning, these flashbacks are heartbreakingly beautiful. While each one is better than last, even the very first time we see the pair as Simon takes a tumble shows both the fantastic art style these scenes take from the rosy lens of a nostalgic Simon and the immense chemistry of this pair, as the episode somehow ups the devastation of their relationship more and more every time we see him. Before
Oh
getting to Fionna and
no.
Cake's adventures
You're
in
gonna make me
this
sad.
one, let's quickly go through the Scarab's plot so we're at least only going back and forth between two different stories, as Scarab doesn't exactly get a ton of screen time. Just like all of his other appearances in the show, it's a bit of a mixed bag. To start, the visuals throughout these scenes are fantastically surreal, with
What
character
the fuck am I
designs like
looking at?
Orbo making these scenes stand out visually from both of
Simon
their
just ate shit there.
plots.
Jesus. Yep.
Unfortunately, everything else about these plots seem like a drag, almost
These
intentionally
designs
being
and characters are
boring
fucking
to
really
add some
beautiful.
tension to the other two stories.
Hold the fuck up. Did I just see that correctly? That guy is a turtle
Unfortunately,
with like
everything else about these
one. He has
plots
5 heads,
seem like a
right? Like a
drag,
Diglett.
almost intentionally.
But one of his heads is dead. One of them has their eyes closed. One of them also has their eyes closed but happy. One of them is like ugh. One of them is done with this shit, and the last one is fucking dead. This guy has his hands. He has a hand here and a hand holding him up, and his water just flowing infinitely out of him. What are these designs? They're cool as shit, but what the fuck? I got a trombone for no reason? The fuck? Redfire, where did you get a trombone for no reason? The fuck? Who did you rob just now?
Being boring to add some tension to the other two stories, which, while it does serve that purpose, I still fail to connect with Scarab or really care about what he's getting up to. Luckily, though, his scenes only take up a few minutes, and the rest of the episode is still so
Mm-hmm.
terrific that it's able to fight with Destiny and Simon Petrikov for being the best in the season so far.
What?
But let's finally get into the events of what I'll call Desert World for now, as our trio
Desert
end up
World?
adventuring through what first appears to be a wasteland. Throughout this one, Cake takes her place as opposition to Fionna, as she's clearly frustrated with her for ruining what she perceived was her chance to actually grab the crown. And while she is bordering on the line of just kind of being annoying throughout this one and her angst towards Fionna, it makes sense that she would be frustrated as they enter world number 4, and the amount that this weighs on Fionna provides some really interesting character moments with her throughout this one. The campfire scene towards the front of this one pretty clearly stands parallel to the
Why is
one
there a bunch
back
of
in Simon
happy music?
Petrikov, with Simon being the one who is doing the cheering up this time, finding Fiona's love for love, and telling her about him and Betty. The first of the flashbacks to
Aww.
this point starts up with Simon giving a presentation
That
about
armor,
various
yes,
artifacts
yes,
that the
yes.
audience knows
All
are
this imagery I
real,
just
as
remembered.
he is
Holy
ridiculed
shit.
by everybody for believing in such things. Everybody except for Betty. Betty first falling in love with Simon's work before the person fits their relationship dynamic so well. And as I will likely repeat myself when talking about these scenes later on, every single flashback is just so sweetly written that it hurts your soul watching them and knowing what happens to this pair shortly after. Before getting back to them, though, the trio take a trip to meet our favorite robot, as BMO delivers this line that
What?
I haven't seen much discussion of, but hit me pretty hard when I first watched the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Around, except for football. I haven't seen her in forever.
No, no. I don't give a damn about your fucking ads. That's annoying as shit. Okay, sorry. We're gonna go back real quick.
Meet our favorite robot, as BMO delivers
Just
this
out of
line that
nowhere.
I haven't
Hi.
seen
I was
much
like, no.
discussion
Boom.
of, but hit me pretty hard when I first watched the episode.
Around, except for football. I haven't seen her in forever.
Throughout the show, football has represented the power of BMO's imagination, and in this world devoid of life, it's just devastating to hear that he can't
No.
even conjure up the will to talk to football. In general, though, BMO is just legendarily good throughout
No.
this one, as he both delivers hilarious line after hilarious line, while also being a fascinating way to convey the story of this world, as his somewhat manic ramblings slowly reveal the truth. Before then, though, on our way to see what's left of the Ice Kingdom, we get another fantastic flashback with Betty, as we see a bit more of why her and Simon work so well as a pair, as his cautious approach to finding snakes is met by Betty's, as Fionna puts it, badass method of sprinting across the rocks. I love Simon's smile after Fiona's comment too, as focusing on the good times with Betty does him a lot more good than being sad about her current state. Flipping back to the desert world, and I do apologize for the back and forth nature of this part of the
No,
video,
no, 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 no. It
watching
makes perfect
these
sense. If
tapes
that's the
both
way that it's
provides
delivered,
some
don't even feel
levity
bad,
as we
Ample.
get to see this version of the character once again,
Samuel.
while also finally giving Fionna some knowledge about why Simon's plan to use the crown feels a bit devastating to any informed viewer, as she fails to mention the reveal of the crown's location in the video, not even going to look for it herself, at least on screen that is. Seeing Betty refuse to impose on Simon's moment of gratification as his theories are finally proven true
Mm-hmm.
is such a bittersweet moment, as she loves him so much that she can't make herself do anything that might possibly harm the culmination of his career. I also love that Simon is unable to speak clearly in front of her, as he's too smitten to even think properly. Back at the Candy Kingdom, as Bimo continues to entertain his audience, his mania stops being charming to Cake as she flips out, overwhelming Fionna as she's forced to run out to the balcony to
No,
sob. This
note on this scene in the comments. I will. Please tell me what the fuck happens.
is definitely a low point for Cake throughout the series, as even watching her best friend run out crying doesn't even faze her enough to go out and check on Fionna, as Simon ends up being the one to have to cheer her up, as we get the second to last and the longest of the flashbacks, as Simon finds Betty's note and sprints to stop her at the bus station. This scene is just out of this world in how great it is at making the pair appear as soulmates, which of course all ends to just how devastated each one of them was when the other was taken. The rom-com nature of Simon finding her note in the library adds to the overall unhateably gushy nature of this thing, and of course, just like every other scene throughout this season, the show's animation continues to just be terrific, with some of these shots just being too stinking impressive to describe with words. Seriously, I'm struggling to find other things to write about this scene, as watching Simon awkwardly profess his love to Betty as she joyfully accepts just makes for
This
one
is
of the
actually
most
really fucking
romantic
beautiful.
moments I've ever seen animated, and we're somehow not even to the best part yet. Before then, though, Bimo dies. It's such
What?
a shock, no pun intended, to watch Bimo bring up this plan to use his heart to power the remote, only for it to overload his circuits and leave our trio speechless. And it hits
No.
even harder a second time during Simon's eulogy, in which it's revealed that it didn't even work. Even in a world where everybody is dead, except for Nepter, who's probably just busy somewhere, watching Bimo, the show's stand-in for youthful innocence and joy, lose his life for literally nothing just sets the depressing vibe for the last few minutes of the episode. And while I've praised Fionna and Cake for over an hour this month, the final two scenes of this episode are back-to-back
That
some
is
of the
some of the
best
most
scenes
sad and
that Adventure
depressing shit
Time
I've
has
ever
ever
heard.
done. The first of which being the final scene of Simon and Betty at the bus stop, as their song, which is Everything in You, written and sung by Half Shy, plays in the background. It's only about 40 seconds, but that hasn't stopped me from watching it over and over and over again. Every single frame as the fireflies surround a content Betty and Simon is perfectly animated, and Half Shy's vocals are just mind-numbingly heavenly, as the lyrics describe the beautifully but ultimately doomed romance between the pair. It's such a stunningly great ending to their story throughout the episode, and is my highlight of these first 8 episodes, and is honestly just one of my favorite scenes of anything ever. I mean, I just don't know how else to describe it other than utterly fantastic, as it further recontextualizes their relationship throughout the series and the drastic measures both of them took to see the other. After this moment, though, we finally get to meet the title character of the
Mm-hmm.
episode, with Jerry ending up being a nickname for none other than the Lich. And
What?
I'm not sure any
Oh,
twist in Adventure Time has ever hit me quite as hard as the reveal of this being the world where the Lich succeeded. Everything in this
that
episode, like
actually
the Ice
makes so
King
much
turning into a
sense.
skeleton at the end of his tape, all suddenly comes into place with this reveal. And before your mind can even process it, we get the iconic static as Ron Pearl's voice creeps in as he drags our trio across an empty void. While we've gotten a bunch of Lich returns at this point, I don't
Mm-hmm.
really think I'll ever get tired of him popping into these stories, with this episode giving us another interpretation of the character as he lets our trio live. Just like everybody else in the story, after achieving his one and only goal, the Lich is without purpose too, as he simply goes back into apparent hibernation. At this point, Fionna gives
That's
us the second big twist of the episode, as she reveals that she went back and nabbed the crown from the Ice Kingdom. While they don't mention it in this episode, I think part of the reason that Cake is immediately so viscerally upset by this betrayal is because if Fionna had just told everybody that she had it, then Bimo never would have had to die, as even in her attempts to stop hurting people, Fionna still causes pain. At this
God damn
point,
it,
Simon breaks up
Fiona.
their kerfuffle, as after reflecting on his past with Betty, he's ready to help bring magic back into their world as he starts up the ritual, using his sane mind to glance at a photo of his fiancée one last time, as the title pair jump back into the portal. At this point, Scarab suddenly shows up, just in time for Simon putting on the crown to be interrupted by a second portal
What?
forming underneath him, which mysteriously takes him and Scarab while
Glorb.
globe imagery fills the room,
Yep,
as it
Glorb.
becomes pretty apparent who summoned Simon. This scene feels so climatic, both in the fact that it's the fulfillment of the plotline that was set up back in episode 4, as well as having the emotional fulfillment of Simon trying to put back on the crown, only to presumably be saved by the person he just spent the entire episode thinking about. I'm going to talk more about this episode at some point later down the line, as it is truly one of the most spectacular pieces of animation I've ever had the honor of watching. But for
I
now,
I'm
despite the
going to
goofy
watch the
name,
series and I'm
Jerry is
going to binge it.
filled with so many
Golb.
fantastic moments
Glorb. Doesn't matter.
along
It's
both
Golb. Fuck.
plots that it
Yeah, you're
makes
right.
it
It is
feel
Golb.
almost
Oh god,
impossibly
no.
fantastic, as Fionna and Cake continues to blow me away heading into its final set of episodes. So yeah, just like every week of this show, I was
Everyone, please
genuinely
get into
stunned
the
by
description of this
Fionna and
video. You're gonna
Cake
find the
this time
original link
around.
and all that
And
shit.
with the
Please, just get
finale
out there.
being only days away,
This is
I'm
so
both
nice.
sad that this era of Adventure Time revival throughout the fandom is coming to a close, as well as being immensely excited for how the story is gonna wrap up. And scared. Mostly scared. This has been AmpleSamuel, and I'll see you in about a week to discuss whatever masterpiece the crew has cooked up for us. Thanks for
There's
watching.
nothing that they can do. Oh shit, I pushed the wrong link. Anyways, everybody, please, we're gonna have a lovely day. I want y'all to like and subscribe to the original channel. It's gonna be in the link in the description. Just go. You're right, local. Okay,
I've
I've
pretty
been
much
listening
run
to a
out of.
lot of Glorb recently due to your ass sending me so much of it and requesting so much of it. Um. Anyways, bye everybody. Have a lovely fucking day and goodbye.